Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop. Today is January 29th and it's my weekly shop update. So today, January 29th, is Lindsay's birthday, so big happy birthday to her. She is the most supportive person in my life. If you don't know who that is, that's my wife. Amazing, amazing woman who doesn't look a day over 29. I think that's what I'm supposed to say. So happy birthday, Lindsay. I hope you're having a good day at work, just like I am. So, and I hope if you're in this area that happens to be under this ridiculously cold weather, hope you're staying warm. The air temperature today here in Minneapolis is, I think, -10. So it's pretty rough, and it's windy. So it's like, it's got to be like -30 with the wind chill or something ridiculous like that. It's really, really cold. So this week I got a little bit of a update on the tool cabinet and a few other things that are going on in the shop. Let me tell you about something's back again for another one of those. So let's jump into it. So the first thing this week is I finally finished up my batch of leveling bases for stacking lumber. I started this batch back in November, and when my dad was here for Thanksgiving, we finished up 10 of these things that are already in use, and I was sitting on these guys just, you know, waiting, not really, just waiting for some time to finish prepping them and getting them painted and finish up that video. So that video is done. It'll be out later this week. It's gonna be nice to have some extras of these guys so I can stack stuff whenever the need happens to arise. So last week when we took a look at the hand tool cabinet, the joinery for the overall case was just being done. Those were those mitered through dovetails. This week the drawer area is complete, so we have a horizontal divider as well as the vertical dividers that divide up or subdivide that overall drawer space. So let me show you how all of this stuff went. So next up for this guy is going to be to add another kind of division to the case. So the next thing that's going to come in here is a partial horizontal divider, which will come out to about here and then drop back down. That's going to allow me to have some cubby areas down here for storing some planes in this direction or some other stuff, whatever fits in those cubbies, as well as a little till for my card scrapers. And on top of that little shelf piece will be the plane till. So all the planes will sit on top of this little shelf here. So that's what I am working on filming this week. So I also started to do a little bit of cleanup work on the tooling that came with the Bridgeport. So this was that first bin, and these things clean up really nicely. It was kind of ridiculous, like what a difference a little bit of degreaser made. These things were so dirty you couldn't even tell if any of them were sharp or not. Now most of these things are all really dull and would need to be reground. So at least that's what it looks like at this point. There's a few. This is not one of them. There's a few of them I found that were still in good shape. This one still feels like it's pretty much brand new and completely sharp. So I do have a few end mills in here that are still actually usable out of the box, so to speak. And then I still have this other case of much larger end mills to clean up. So these are actually a lot cleaner than that other bin was, but that gives you an idea of how dirty all of these end mills were. And then in this case, there's actually 3 layers. So there's so many little cutters in here. There's a lot of small stuff, but again, most of the stuff is so dull. I highly doubt these little ones are worth having, being reground as far as the cost goes. But I have, I guess I got some high-speed steel blanks for something. That's good. In case I want to make some tools. Is that how that works? So I think that's all I've been up to this week. Let's take a look at some viewer projects. First this week is a crib by Don, which he built for his niece. It's made from red oak, and he started with the plans from Wood Magazine, but he deviated slightly because he didn't want to use plywood. The inlays are various exotics, and the ones you can remember are yellow heart, purple heart, babinga, kingwood, pink ivory, and canary wood. Next are a pair of Adirondack chairs by Glenn. The chairs are made from kumaru, which are sold as tropical hardwood decking at the big box stores. For hardware, he used brass carriage bolts and stainless steel number 10 screws. The finish is 3 coats of Rust-Oleum spar varnish, thinned 50-50 with naphtha, and wiped on. Next is a Tulip Poplar dustpan by Fred. Fred says he decided to make a dustpan for the shop, and it turned out so nice he doesn't want to get it dirty. The dustpan was inspired by the sunset serving tray video by Michael Alm. Last this week are some Waterfall tables by Brian. Both the tables came from a single walnut slab, and purple heart was used for the bow ties. Brian cut the 45-degree miter with a track saw and used 4 dominoes in each joint with Titebond 2 glue. The legs came from Symmetry Hardware in Portland and is finished with 5 coats of Armor Seal. I also wanted to let you know about a young man named Seth who has a YouTube channel here on YouTube. So Seth put out a video a few days ago about his backstory, and I thought it was really cool to hear because he's 14 now. He started woodworking when he was 8, and the stuff and quantity of things he's made in that time is just incredible. I don't think I've ever seen someone so young make that many things. Definitely check out his channel if you're interested. He's got some really great project videos there as well, and he's quite talented as well. Anywho, this week on Let Me Tell You About Something, it's a little bit, I guess, behind the scenes. For whatever reason, I've been getting a lot of questions the last few weeks about the equipment that I use. Maybe like people have like a New Year's resolution that they want to start making videos or something. I don't know. But that I would cover just a little bit about the camera and microphone setup that I use for those who are interested. So before we jump in, I do want to preface this a little bit by saying that the stuff I'm about to show you is definitely not required to start putting together videos and posting them on the internet. This stuff that I'm going to show you just kind of is the culmination of a few years of making videos, and the things that I've kind of acquired, those are the tools that allow me to make my living. So they need to be able to allow me to do that as efficiently as possible and with the quality level that I want. So with that said, let me show you the camera I'm shooting on right now. This camera is a Sony Z150. It's a video camera as opposed to a DSLR, which I used to shoot on. This guy right here, I shot on that originally. So this allows me to have the control of the DSLR, all of the manual functionality, and still have the kind of run and gun style of a video camera, kind of a point and shoot kind of thing. So all of the exposure and everything is all buttons on here, so I can really easily set everything, because I always run everything in the shop is always going to be manual, with the exception of the focus. Unless I'm doing something close up, I'll set the focus manually, but otherwise the exposure, the white balance, and everything is set manually so that the camera isn't changing exposure throughout the shot, and so the subject that I actually want to be exposed is properly exposed and not like the whole shot. The mic I use is a Sony lav mic, so it has the body pack as well as the receiver on the camera. The mic I used to use is the Sennheiser wireless mic, which was a huge step up from what I used before that, which was a wired mic. So this was okay. You know, anytime I was wearing the mic, I was tethered to the camera, but there's enough cable here that I could literally go anywhere in the shop and still be connected. But that got pretty old pretty quickly, so I stepped up to the Sennheiser mic, and that made a huge difference. The audio quality was actually noticeably better, and I wasn't tethered all the time. I could actually walk around freely without having to worry about a cord. Now, the downside to these mics is what led me to the mic that I'm using right now. So because this is a Sony camera, and I guess it's a Sony mic system, the receiver for the mic actually integrates into the camera itself, as opposed to this one where you have to have a separate battery source. So this is one more place where you have to change the batteries, and it's got to be plugged in. So that's two kind of failure points for me. So plenty of times I would have, I'd be all set up and I'd be recording, and the mic battery in here had died, or it wasn't hooked up, or it came unplugged, or whatever. So this mic actually mitigates a lot of that risk. So because it's powered by the hot shoe, I don't have to put batteries in here, so I don't have to worry about the batteries dying in this mic. And then the transmitter also has batteries in it, which could die, so you'd be talking with no audio, which is totally possible with this setup too, but this one also has lights on here, so if I turn off the transmitter in my pocket, the light will turn red, and I can actually see that from, standing back here. I can also see if the thing is plugged in or receiving power, so if I bump that thing loose, I'll be able to see those lights there. With this one, if it was mounted in the receiver this thing actually comes with, it'd be mounted like this, and you wouldn't be able to see those lights anyway, so having those lights in the front have been a huge saver for me. And the other big thing that drove me away from the Sennheiser was, for whatever reason, it would have terrible spotty reception outdoors with clear line of sight. I lost so much video footage because the audio was absolutely garbled and garbage being outside for whatever reason. Didn't seem to happen that much in the shop, but it's not really a problem anymore with the new mic that I'm using. So that's the stuff that I use typically for most stuff. I also have a GoPro that I'll put on the Sawmill for some secondary shots. That comes in handy. I have it in this time-lapse base that I'm playing around with right now. And I also use my phone a lot for some secondary videos. That's more for the stuff on the Sawmill. If I am talking to the camera and I'm looking at something on a slab or something, I'll just pull up my phone and get a secondary shot with that, which I'll then splice into the video later on. So hopefully that is somewhat helpful. And again, you don't need anything super fancy to start making videos, but for someone who does videos for a living, it is extremely nice to have all of those little things that could happen mitigated away. Because in the past, before this setup, I sat down on my computer so many times only to find out that my mic wasn't turned on or something dumb like that. So the fewer of those occurrences where I have to redo things, the better for my workflow at least. And this Saturday, I'll be heading down to Texas to help April build her bandsaw mill, and I am very much looking forward to that. It is going to be a really fun week and probably really fast. So if you're not already following us on Instagram, probably want to, because we'll be posting stuff there all week. And April's going to have some videos of the build afterwards. I will try to figure out something that I'll post that's not duplicative of what she's already doing, but at the very least I'll have some clips and stuff to share. I'm really looking forward to being able to build that thing with an actual plan going into it rather than trying to figure it out as I go. It should be a lot more fast, which would be some good information for people that are looking to build one themselves, following the plans. So I think that's about all I have for you this week. Thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments about anything I talked about today or anything here in my shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.